Hello everyone, I'm the Sports Wiz 101, and today I'll be giving you my predictions for the playoffs here in the 2025 season. We got the playoff predictor booted up, and so we'll predict the entire playoff bracket as you can see. But let's get started anyway. Start here in the AFC. It's the Patriots and the Chargers going at it in Foxborough. Patriots, perhaps a bit surprisingly, were able to win the East Grand on a weak schedule. That being said, they'll be considered favorites here against the Chargers, and really, the Chargers might not struggle that much in this one. They tend to struggle more against teams with like elite pass rushes. With I wouldn't quite put New England up there as a team with a good pass rush. So I think the Patriots could have their fair share of trouble with the Chargers. However, I do think that Drake May has himself a good game, and that leads to the Patriots getting the win. Moving on, it's the Jaguars. My worst prediction of 2025. As they won the South, they get to host Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. Now, in this matchup, I think this is a bad matchup for Buffalo. I mean, think about Buffalo as a bad run defense going up against a Jacksonville team where running the ball is like their identity. And you have a Bills team that tends to thrive when they're winning the turnover battle. You got a Jacksonville team that's up there among the league leaders in turnover differential. In fact, they're one of the best in taking the ball away. So we might have to have Josh Allen go hero mode, which, let's face it, that absolutely could happen. But in the end, I'm going to take Jacksonville to get the win. And like I said, what I think is a bad matchup for the Bills. Then we got the Steelers and the Texans going at it in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh surviving after Baltimore missed a field goal as time expired that would have handed the Ravens the North title and would have put Baltimore in this spot against the Texans. Here, I don't think they'll be quite as lucky. I think Houston gets the win. I think their defense will be dominant. And I think CJ Stroud and company will do just enough to get the win. Now looking at the NFC. Bears and Packers will take place this Saturday night. This will be the rubber match between the two. Of course, they both won their home game in the season series. And this matchup will take place in Chicago. Here, I'm actually going to pick the Packers to get the win. And that's in part because I believe that looking back at what the last game they played, I believe if Jordan Love is able to play the whole game, that the Packers probably win that game. And I think the Bears will probably keep this close. But I think in the end, Green Bay's defense comes up with a pivotal stop. And Green Bay becomes the second team to win a 2-7 playoff matchup. Of course, following their own playoff triumph a few years ago against the Cowboys. Then we got the Eagles and the Niners. This one should be a good one over in Philly, as the Eagles looking to start their repeat bid. And I think they do it successfully. I think they beat the 49ers. And I think at this point it's probably just too many injuries for the Niners. I see this as more of a lower scoring game, but I think the Eagles get the job done. And then it's the Panthers and the Rams going at it over in Charlotte. I'll take the Rams. I think the Panthers, great story getting in at 8-9. First time we've seen them in the playoffs in years. I have a good friend that is a Panthers fan. I'd love to see Carolina go on a run, but I don't see it when you're taking on the Rams. Granted, they did beat them in Charlotte not that long ago. But with that said, I think the Rams have it on their mind that Carolina absolutely can beat them. They play their A game, and they win convincingly over Carolina. Now moving on to the divisional round. Looking on the AFC side, we got the Broncos and the Texans. They'll go at it in the Mile High City. And you know, as a Chiefs fan, there is an obvious bias against the Broncos. And so, looking at this matchup, I'm desperately looking, it feels like, for reasons why the Texans win this game. I think the main one I came across was the fact that CJ Stroud did not finish the regular season battle in Houston. Remember, these two met up in Houston. It was a low-scoring game that the Broncos won. But by the time the game was over, the Texans had Davis Mills at quarterback. CJ Stroud, of course, will start this one. You'd expect him to finish it. And if that's the case, you might expect Houston to win. That being said, though, I can't deny that the Broncos seem to be running a similar script to last year's Chiefs. And that's a script that, you win close games, you keep winning those close games even in the playoffs before you take a run all the way to the Super Bowl. I think they continue following that script by doing what last year's Chiefs did and win a home game over the Texans. I'll take Denver to win it. So that leaves us with the Patriots and the Jaguars. Now, I did mention earlier Jacksonville had a history of forcing turnovers. New England, they've had their games where they just can't control the football. They can't hold on to the football. So from that perspective, you could see Jacksonville finding a way to pull out the win. However, I do think New England wins. I think that Jacksonville's run game is going to be slowed down by the New England defense. So it's going to be on Trevor Lawrence to get the job done. I just don't have the faith in Trevor Lawrence to get the job done right now. So I'll take the Patriots to win this game and go to the AFC Championship. Now, time for the NFC. It's the Eagles and the Rams. This one should be a good one, assuming we do get it. Now, they met earlier this year. The Rams seemed to dominate before the Eagles made a massive comeback in the second half. Came down to a Rams field goal attempt that was blocked and allowed the Eagles to steal the win. This one, like that matchup, will be in Philly. Also similar to the playoff battle they had last season. However, here, I'm going to take the road team. I'm going to take the Rams. I think this is where the Eagles' offense, kind of lacking any rhythm, kind of comes back to bite them. And I think it's here that the Rams get their revenge and go to the NFC Championship. They will be playing the winner of the Seahawks-Packers game. And ultimately, I think it comes down to the pressure that Green Bay would be able to get on Darnold, by which I mean they're not going to get any pressure on Sam Darnold. I think Seattle gets the win, setting up an all NFC West battle in the NFC Championship game. And now going to those championship games, let's start in the AFC. Broncos Patriots. Here, I think the Patriot offensive line at this point is weakened. And so I think Denver's pass rush will feast. And I think Denver wins this one and the AFC Championship. Now, for the record, I would probably take the Texans if this was them taking on the Patriots for similar reasons. Ultimately, I think the team with a strong pass rush wins the game. In this case, that's the Broncos. Then we have the NFC title game. The Seahawks and the Rams. They would be going at it in Seattle. We all remember what happened the last time they met up in Seattle. The crazy 2-point conversion favoring the Seahawks. And eventually Seattle wins it in overtime on a 2-point conversion. Here, I feel like I gotta favor the Rams. Just because I don't think Seattle is going to get the fortune of getting all those lucky breaks that they were able to get when the battle was in Seattle. So yeah, I'll take the Rams to win that one. Now set up in the Super Bowl, the LA Rams and the Denver Broncos going at it for the Lombardi Trophy. And here, maybe it's the anti-Broncos bias kicking back up, but I gotta go with the Rams as my Super Bowl champion. But a part of it is also me looking back and saying, well, if the Broncos are going to follow a similar script to the one the Chiefs had last season, it's going to end in Super Bowl humiliation for the Denver Broncos. And after all, you can't keep riding the close game magic that they've been riding. See, I'll take the Rams to beat the Denver Broncos in the Super Bowl. With that said, those are my playoff predictions. If you like this, please like and subscribe. I've been the Sports Wiz 101, and I don't know, man.